Sorry, it was a long day at work, so I'm kind of tired. But
Yeah, that's no problem.
how about you, man? How was your day?
My day was pretty good.
That's good.
Traveling to Nepal.
Okay, so I am
Ready for
streaming on
battle.
Discord. Let me know when you're there.
Okay.
What do you think? Boom!
You almost ready?
Hello?
Hello? I think I heard you talk for a half a second. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
I can hear you, but you're really quiet right now.
Uh, I'm on Discord all the time and I've never had a problem.
I have you on 200% and I can barely hear you.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Do you hear me better now?
No, it's the same.
Yeah. Let me just talk to you on my phone then. Hello?
Hi. Um, sounds about the same. Did I turn you? No? Yeah, your user volume's at 200. Ah. Hello? Can you talk real quick?
Yeah.
Alright, I just turned computer volume up really high, so it should be fine.
Okay.
I can hear you decently now.
Okay.
Alright, so I am streaming on Overwatch. Let me know when you're there. Or sorry, I'm streaming on Discord. Hello?
Yeah, I can. I'm looking at it.
Okay. So before we start up, a few questions for you. First off, how long have you been playing Overwatch for?
I played Overwatch the summer of 2017, a little before the summer event.
Okay.
But I've always just played casually. I didn't really care.
Mhm.
But that's why I switched to PC because I want to start playing at a higher level.
So you're level 38 because you swapped from console to PC.
Oh yeah, I was on
Alright.
PlayStation for the 3 years, and I've been on PC for like a month and a half now.
Okay, and then for the past like month that you've been on PC, how consistently would you say that you've been playing? So like how often?
Like, how consistent do I play on a daily basis?
Yeah.
Um, I played pretty consistently at first, and then when when I finished the 25 levels and playing competitive, I dropped down to maybe 2 hours a day, or maybe no, not even maybe like an hour
Okay.
a day, something like that. Which I know to get better, you have to play more.
You keep cutting out. Alright.
Uh, well, I can hear you perfect. So there
I-
must be something on my end. I don't
Okay.
know.
Well, last thing is, do you have any questions for me before we begin? Begin.
No.
Okay. Then let's get started. Oh, it's a little too far ahead.
So the Ashe, I actually don't play a lot of Ashe. I picked Ashe because it's a character I want to learn to play.
Okay. Okay.
I was
First
just,
off, don't focus.
oh,
Oh, go ahead. What you really
no,
say?
no, no, sorry.
You
I
cut
was
out.
gonna tell you. I was gonna tell you I was practicing to shoot the TNT right there.
Yeah.
But you were about to say
If
don't focus.
Yeah, if one, if you miss it right off the bat, and two, because there's nobody around it, there's no purpose of hitting the TNT because it's not actually going to land anything. So if you see that nobody's around the TNT anymore, then you just ignore the TNT, go for somebody else.
Okay. I was like, nah, the Roadhog's dead. I'm out. Uh,
Okay, again, focusing the TNT when it's not going on anything, and then also just remember that you're not just tossing TNT at nothing. You have to have a target in mind. So you make sure you're trying to place it more on top of where people are actually at, rather than just tossing it on the point, because you're not going to get anything that way, and then you're just wasting time. If Genji's dashing at you, you can TNT at the ground to try to get him in it. That's also an option. All right, so we're going to go over some crosshair placement real quick. So crosshair placement. Oh, whoa, ow, that hurts my ears. 1 second.
Sorry.
You, okay? I can hear you normally now, but now you're super loud.
Sorry, it's just that computer's been acting up. It's like I'll be connected to the Wi-Fi, but then I'm not getting Wi-Fi. That's what's happening right now. So I switched over to my phone.
All right.
I'm looking at the screen.
Trying to figure out how to turn you down though. It's not giving me an option to. Check. It's not. Yeah, it's not letting me turn you down in Discord.
Here.
All right, there we go. There we go. I figured it out. Okay. So, I'm hearing an echo of myself in the background. Maybe mind putting like on a push to mute or something like that. So unless you're talking, you just mute yourself.
I put my earphone on. Does that help?
Oh yeah, that helps. Okay. So, crosshair placement is I could definitely tell that the transfer over to PC has highly affected your aim, and you're still getting used to keyboard and mouse, and you're not hitting that many shots. So the biggest thing that you can do to get better with aiming is learn how to use crosshair placement, and crosshair placement is going to be using your brain to help your aim. You're going to place your crosshair in the best possible place so that you're hitting more targets, hitting more headshots. So first step to crosshair placement is aiming head level. So if we're aiming down body level, then that means we have to, one, adjust more when we have to go for shots rather than just left and right if we're aiming here. So if we're aiming here, we're just automatically on top of them. If we're aiming here, then we have to adjust up to hit a headshot. But then at the same time, if we're aiming down at the ground and we come over here, we have less visibility, so we can't see the top high ground. We aim up, now we can see the top high ground, so you have more visibility if you're aiming up too. So if we know that there is somebody on the left here, we aim head level there, and then there's very little adjustment for when we see them. Very, very little adjustment. So we know somebody's over there. We're aiming head level there. We're letting them walk into our crosshair, and then we're slightly adjusting once they go past it. You can do the same thing on the other side, down below. You're always going to want to aim head level for whatever level the enemy is at, because you don't want to aim head level for where you're at if you're on a high ground here. Head level where they're at, that way you're hitting more shots. Okay. So we know bots on the left, coming up here, hugging the corner tight. Okay. So that's going to be largely how, if you learn how to use crosshair placement correctly, you're going to be hitting more shots because you're just putting your crosshair where you know people are going to be. Rather than just going and trying to go and hit the bots if you don't have the best aim, let the bot move into your crosshair. You can just kind of let them, or like not the bot, like people in your games, you just like kind of like place it in front of them and let them walk into it. So you don't have to go for crazy adjustments if you just let them walk into your shots, unless you're dealing with like high mobility targets like Tracer, Genji, things like that.
Okay.
Can you also remind me of what? Oh, I'm not looking at my friends list real quick. Can you also remind me of what your SR is?
It was at 1993, but I
Okay.
lowered to 1837.
Traveling to Nepal. Ready for battle.
I think it's at 1837. And
All right. The game does not seem to be loading in. Or wow. Where's your? Oh, okay. There we go.
I could use some assistance.
Yeah. So you just look how many shots we're taking to miss the BAP. We place it in front of him. We let him walk into it. It's just all about timing at that point. So we, instead of trying to adjust to him, we can mainly just time it so that we're hitting him when he walks into it. So place your crosshair where you know that he's gonna be. Good dynamite there. Good job.
I'm taking the point. Damage. I get the idea.
I keep wanting to go forward. I was like, nope, I gotta back up. She's because she's a hit scan. She needs to be further back.
Good job focusing on the immortalities whenever you see them. Okay, again, make sure if it's too high, it's not in a position to hit somebody, you're not focusing on it. Also, make sure, I had something else on my mind. Oh yeah, reloading. So we went a large period of time where, when we are, heck, I just went back. So we're over here, we're rotating backwards. Right now, you want to be reloading, and you don't reload. You're not shooting anything, so that's just a time. Whenever you're not shooting at something, you want to be reloading because then you're gonna have more bullets to shoot when you actually do see something that you want to shoot at. Okay, pretty decent. Maybe instead of tossing Bob in the middle, which allows him to get booped off, you can toss him closer to the left side since this is a very boop heavy map. There are going to be a lot of people who can um, just boop him off, so you want to make sure that that's not going to happen, which Lucio does boop him off.
Okay.
Let's get you back out there.
Okay, so make sure you're hugging your corners tight. So when you are turning this corner,
Get you back out there.
you're not slowly moving to the right. You're either automatically looking to the right or you're hugging it very tight with your crosshair. But you should probably already, while you're walking forward, be looking this way and just walk left. Because
Okay.
look in a second how you turn this corner. It's a very slow turn, which means that if Kree was immediately to the right, or if anybody was immediately to the right, it takes you longer to see them and notice them.
Okay.
Heroes never die. Patched up. Everybody come over here.
I was like, oh wait, everyone's still alive. I thought we lost the match.
Enemy seen. Here it comes.
First round, 1.
So big recap from last match was one, we're throwing dynamites a lot just randomly as kind of spam, and we're not putting real thought into where they're going. And then we're also shooting at them a lot when they're not near anything. And if we miss the first shot, we're trying to spend time setting it off. Besides that, we just went over some crosshair placement. I think aim was a big thing there, and if you're trying to practice aim, more time you put into the game, especially, is going to help. But then you can also, while you're in queues for games, play some free for all, and then that will free for all deathmatch, which will help you practice mechanics. The reason why free for all deathmatch is so good to practice mechanics is because there are no objectives, there's no teammates that you have to worry about. It's just you and your 1v1s or 1v2s. It's just your duels, so you only need to focus on your mechanics. And if you're trying to focus on mechanics, a lot of the time, just thinking about your shots helps a lot. As you're going to go about practicing the things I'm talking about, you're going to want to focus kind of on one thing at a time or two things at a time so that you're not getting overwhelmed and talking and thinking about like 10 things that you have to work on each game. So just focus on one at a time. And if you're just focusing on your aim, make sure that you're just making sure you're hitting shots. Make sure that every individual shot matters and you're trying to hit every individual shot. And that will greatly increase the amount of shots you're hitting. And then once you start hitting a lot more shots, you'll be able to think about it less, and it'll become more of a habit than something you have to think about.
Okay.
Hey. Hey.
I was trying to get her to.
Hey.
Oh, you cut out.
I was just trying to get her to say hi.
Oh, sorry.
Hey.
So, looking at the ground,
Hey.
what are we looking at when we come in here? We're looking at the ground in the middle rather than looking left or right, which means that it takes us time before we see them coming right side. And we have to adjust further when we see them coming right side. Okay, now that they have a shield tank, we need to make sure that we're aiming up when we're throwing our dynamite so that we're getting it over the shield. Reinhardt
Okay.
was swinging then, but if he is holding shield, then you want to make sure that you're throwing it above it. Okay, use your coach gun to boost him backwards. Oh, actually, wait, was it Uncle? Oh, it was Uncle. No, my bad.
Yeah, I waited earlier.
Mhm.
Let's get you back in the fight. Hallelujah.
Okay, so we're gonna want to reposition on the high ground. Looks like that's what you're going to go do. So when we are just real quick showing you how crosshair placement works, if you are standing right here and you're aiming here, you don't want to be aiming at the center, and that is also not head level. So rather than aiming here, we can aim to the left of right next to the frame of the doorway or the archway, and at head level where our hog's head is, and then that means that we will be hitting people in the head if they come around the corner, and we won't have to adjust as far. Nobody's gonna just magically appear out in the open there, so you want to place your crosshair where you know that they're gonna be coming, the direction you know they're gonna be coming in from. In the same way, when you come over here to look up at this doorway, you're gonna aim head level at the doorway so that you can hit shots easier when they come in.
Okay.
Okay, so team compositions. First thing every single game you need to be thinking about is what is my team running and what are they running. Okay, because that's going to dictate how you're playing. If we're running dive, we're going to have a very different play style than if we're running a brawl. And the same way, you need to know what they're playing so that you know what their characters are going to be doing, what's their goal, and how are you going to win playing against them. So right now, they're running a very, very heavy brawl comp. So that means that they're trying to get near you. They're trying to get on top of you. They have a Reaper and a Mei and a Reinhardt and a Brigida and a Lucio. So they can't really do damage to you if you're far away from them. So that means that you want to be playing far away from them and just getting as much spam damage as you can so that you are kind of cleaning them up before they can run onto anything.
Okay.
Okay, make sure if you let it hit the ground, then there's gonna be people who people walk in front of it, people run in the way. So make sure you're just hitting it before it hits the ground. Also, again, remember that just in case their range is really far back right now, he should be in front of his team. But if he was in front of his team, you're going to need to aim it upwards more because you do throw it towards the ground and not up into the air.
Okay.
Okay. Scope shot those. We're doing a lot of unscope shots, which will do less damage and will mean that we're just emptying our clip faster. Unscope shots should typically just be reserved for finishing off low health targets if a target's close to you. So if someone's close to you, you unscope, or if somebody's low, you unscope. Otherwise, most of your shots are just going to be scope shots. So right here you can see you didn't aim up and then it just gets blocked by the shield. That's not aimed up. If we were aiming up, that would be a couple inches up here. I can't show I don't think you can see my crosshair or my mouse, but right now we throw this straight out of the shield or straight at them, which means that it just hits the Sigma shield, bounces off, and then we get no value out of that. Besides Brig, who walks into it. Okay, so now, what do you think is your next major objective coming into this fight?
To scoot a little more on my side of the map, but staying walking backwards from right here, going towards that area.
Yep. So that's probably not necessary unless somebody's coming up to you because, or yeah. So what you're saying is just maybe rotate here.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah,
But
that's that's good, not necessarily what I was thinking. I was thinking more of the fact that you have Bob. You're 93 to Bob, and whenever you are 90 to an ultimate, you need to start thinking about how am I going to use this ultimate once I get this ultimate. And that means that you're probably going to want to throw him out relatively soon after you get him. Okay, very good. You did throw him out very fast there. Rather than letting him run past there, I probably would have had him contest though. So if you, rather than throw him straight down like this, if you angle him to the right more, then he hits the inside wall over here, which means that he contests point, because Bob can contest point. But in a second, you're going to see that they kill your tanks, which means that you don't have anybody to contest point. You send them right past, they kill your Reaper, and then now you have nobody on point. So you're all forced to run in on point. Bob gets them from behind. Very good, Bob. Just like I said, a tiny little bit more to the right, and that means that you all don't have to try to rush in and funnel on the point, which favors them since they are running brawl. They want you to come point, and by not contesting point with Bob, that means that you're running straight into their close range comp. So, in any case, that was a really good Bob. Oh, I accidentally clicked all the way back. Okay.
Did we win the match? I don't remember if we won, but I think I sent it to you because I didn't feel like it was my gameplay that won, but they carried us, carried me.
Yep. So we're coming around this corner. Head level. Don't stare at the wall here. Aim. You should already kind of be aiming where Briggs' head is right now. If you're playing with crosshair placement correctly, then your crosshair is right where Briggs' head is, and then as soon as she peeks the corner, that means that it's very easy, an easy shot for you because your crosshair is already there. There's no adjustment needed. So make sure that you're already aiming there. On top of that, let's see, did we? I want to see something real quick. Spam jumping. So spam jumping is when you just, this isn't, okay, so this, just to clarify, this is not going to be incredibly important, but it is just a tiny little thing that it's kind of tiny little bad habit that you might want to fix, is you just holding down spacebar here, so you're jumping. That's not a good habit to have because it does three things. First off is it's going to make it easier to get headshot, so especially like once you get super high up there in the ranks, like Masters, Grandmasters, it's going to make it so that people can predict your movement, because when you go up, you have to come down. So it's a very easy animation to hit. So for hit scan characters, it's going to be very easy to hit somebody who's jumping. Now, of course, you're not at that rank yet, but you always want to play as if you are playing at a higher rank, because if you can't hang with Diamond, Masters, Grandmasters players, then you're never going to get to that rank. So you want to play as if you're there. Second off, it's going to make it harder for your shots to hit, because if you're constantly jumping up and down, that means that you are now bobbling your crosshair up and down, which means that it's going to be harder to adjust, because now you have to adjust for both horizontal and vertical movement, whereas if you didn't jump, then you just have to go side to side. Then the third thing is you have less control over your movement, because if you jump around the corner, you can't stop yourself until you hit the ground. Whereas if you just walk around the corner, then you can move back instantly. Again, this is all very, like, it's kind of a tiny little bad habit, and I've seen people focus a little bit too much on it. So it's just something to try to work on.
Okay.
Okay, good dynamite and clean up.
I was like, ooh, I'm walking into this man.
Again, look at where we place our crosshair after we aim here. Not head level. This is aiming at the ground. And then we're also not aiming left side. If somebody's coming around this right side here, we can see them through this. Okay? So we know if somebody goes right side. So you should automatically be looking here so that you can see when they're coming around the corner.
Okay.
Hey, where you at?
Just point me in the right direction. Here it comes.
Okay, you should also probably be positioning yourself on the high ground. You want to do that earlier because now that means that coming into this fight, they're already here now. The fight's about to start, and you just used a cooldown, and you want to have that cooldown. So in that 10 seconds where there's nothing happening is the perfect time for you to reposition yourself and put yourself on the high ground, because then you're going to have your cooldown back by the time the fight starts. Now you're starting the fight without this cooldown, which means that, let's say for example, the monkey that they now have, or the Lucio or the Reaper decide to go on top of you, you don't have anything to get away from them because now you don't have the cooldown.
Mhm.
Probably also say this rotation isn't the best or isn't necessary because that means one, you're dropping down from high ground, and we probably want to stay on high ground because that means that we're safe from most of their team. Can Brig get you on high ground?
No.
Can May get you on high ground?
No. Well,
If
No.
she right clicks, so half of her kit is getting rid of. Can Reaper get you on high ground?
No.
Yep. Unless he uses teleport, which means that you're making him use cooldowns, which is very good. If they want to get to you, they need to expend cooldowns. Sigma can get you on high ground. Lucio can get you on high ground, but then you can probably very easily duel him. So high ground is going to give you a lot of survivability against their composition. And again, remember, we want to play at a range from them. We don't want to play right next to them because of we're playing a ranged character. They're playing very close range characters. So we want to play at a range. We keep the high ground. Coming around right side means that there's not really a good angle that we can hit them on from high ground unless we're sitting here, which is fine if they're all coming around right side, but you could have also just been left. Left works probably a lot better here. So probably need to go all the way to the right here, and that also means that you were in a fine position, and then you took a long rotation, which means that you're out of the fight for a long time. So since you're rotating right now, you are not shooting at anything for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. So you're out of the fight for 5 seconds, which means that during that 5 seconds, they could be doing a lot of things. So you just want to make sure that you're being very careful about when you're rotating or being out of the fight for long periods of time, because in that time they could be turning it around. So I probably just say top left. Other than that, good nade or good dynamite there. Okay, good game. Do you have another one?
The soldier one that I sent you as well.
Okay, 1 second. Why it won't show me our chat together because it's stuck on. How do I'm gonna stop streaming so I can see it.
Or,
All right. Was it the first one?
yes, the first one was the
All right.
soldier one. Hey man, you wouldn't know what the problem is when a computer says you have internet, but then you don't.
Traveling to
You wouldn't know how to fix that, would you?
battle.
What do you mean by then you don't have it? Like what? How do you know that you don't have internet?
Like it says right here at the bottom, it's like connected, secured to my Wi-Fi, right? But then I go on the internet, it's like no, Discord is loading forever.
Um, is Discord the only? Have you checked other applications? Because Discord has been very buggy recently because especially because of quarantine and how many people are using it.
Yeah, like I'm on Chrome and I have a BattleNet open. It's
Mm.
my gamer tag, and then it's like plugging in and out of an outlet or something.
Okay.
And
You can try plug. Do you have it connected through an Ethernet cable?
no, I don't.
No. You can try resetting the router. You can try which you do by just unplugging it and then waiting 30 seconds and then plugging it back in. You can do things like you can try just restarting your computer, something like that. See if it's your computer's fault for not connecting to the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Other than that, you can try troubleshooters, see what's wrong, look up the problem.
Okay.
Y-
Thank you,
you-
man. I'll try that when we're done. 'Cause I don't know if anyone else is using the Wi-Fi right now, so I can't reset it.
Yeah, I would recommend if you're looking to play competitive gaming to get an Ethernet cable to connect it because you're gonna have faster connection that way, and you won't lose a connection because you'll be connected directly to the router.
Okay.
So you can get those for like I think they're only like $10, something like that.
Attackers incoming.
Okay. I'll probably end up getting the Ethernet cable. That's what I was thinking before I got when it first started, and I was like, maybe I'll get an Ethernet cable with direct access. Maybe it won't happen.
Alright, so same thing here on Soldier that we have when we are on Ashe is we want to play at a very long range, or at least a medium range. We don't want to be close to people, because if we're close to people, then we're putting ourselves in a dangerous situation because we're a medium ranged hero. So instead of standing right here, we have a plethora of options here. We can sit up top right here where our turret is. It just means that we'd have to let them walk in a little bit more. You can come over here to this high ground, hold here.
Are you
Go
screen
ahead.
sharing right now?
Oh, yep, my bad. I am not.
What?
I thought that. Oh, you see it now?
Yeah, I see it now.
Okay,
Okay.
so I'll re-say that. So we're standing right here. We're a medium range hero. This is not a medium range. This is decently close to them, which means that, especially if we're just looking at their comp real quick, we are a very diveable target. If they're running a brawl, then we're very close and lets them walk in on us. But then this also means that we don't have very good angles to shoot at them from. So instead, we can come up here to the top right where our torp turret is. We can come up top, or well, this is top right now. Come up here and hold this high ground. But then probably the best option you're gonna have is holding here, which I think you can get by just sprint jumping over. But then you can also do the same thing by climbing this and then jumping over. It's I'd have to walk you through it, but I'm pretty sure you can do it
With the
very
helix
easily.
rockets?
Yeah,
Do
you can do a
jump?
helix jumps. But yeah, you can also. I'm pretty sure you can just regular sprint jump this. And then this middle high ground gives you a lot of different options. If you get pressured, so if they dive you, then that means that you can just drop down immediately. And if they don't, then you have free reign for basically the entire map here. Um, Once you realize what comp they're on, so you want to start here, and then once you see that what comp they're on, you probably want to drop immediately because this spot isn't going to be good against what they're running because they are running half dive. So they have a Genji and a ball, but then they also have a Widowmaker, which is going to mean that if you're sending up here right out in the open, then Widowmaker gets free shots at you. So once you see that they have a Widowmaker, and once you see that they have a dive, you're probably going to want to start playing with your team. So right now, even though I would not start where you're at, is probably the best place for you to be at after realizing what the comp they have. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just that I was stream sniping, so I knew who they were, so it's fine. Nah,
Is
I'm
that a
just checking.
joke or are you serious?
Yeah, I'm just checking.
All right. So yeah, even if you are here, you still probably want to be back a little bit. You want to be closer to the back or the middle of of your team, not right behind your Reinhardt on the front. Just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Back to your perspective. Okay, pretty decent so far. Make sure that you're not standing still for long periods of time because that's going to make it easy for people to get on top of you or headshot you. So you can stand still in certain scenarios. If you have a shield, um, if you have a set shield, you can stand still for a little bit. Again, not for super long periods of time. If you're on a off angle or a flank and nobody's looking at you, you can stand still for your first couple of shots. But most of the time, you're not going to want to stand still, and you're just going to want to 80-80 is what it's called. Just move side to side, left, right, left, right, left, right. That way you're moving your head hitbox side to side to side to side, so that it's harder to hit headshots on you.
Okay.
Heroes never die for a price. This is not your time.
Okay, so look at where we are in comparison to our team.
This is not your time.
So we're running back here. They shatter our team, and now we are running into them while we are on the front line, basically here. So they have a
Mhm.
Reinhardt here. We are basically pincered. So instead of running straight into him, we can probably try to run around to the back here and wrap around this side, because, or just back up here and you shoot at them as they come through. Or we can also turn around and shoot at the Ana, because look, Ana's by herself. So, Reinhardt's probably not the target we want to focus here, and we don't want to run into swinging range of him. You're walking straight into him. Ana sleeps you from behind. Ball slams you. Now you're big bash and dead. So really far on the front lines. Most of the time, you want to be playing at a distance from them so that they can't get to you. If so, stand off to the right there. Shoot at them as they come through. Rotate around if you need to. But there you are in a very open area, which made it very easy for them to kill you.
Mhm.
No rest for the weary. My tactical visor is charging.
Okay, make sure you're not holding down left click if there's nothing there. Just as soon as you don't see any red blobs on your screen, stop holding left click and either reload or just stop shooting so that you still have bullets left in your mag for when you do see something. Oh, do you lag out there?
No, my aim probably sucks.
You're what?
Oh, is there what?
Look, I'm just saying, you start shooting at a wall.
Yeah, no, my aim just sucks.
Yep. So make sure that you're just adjusting onto him, or onto her, and
Oh, I think
also.
that's when I hit my water bottle on my desk, and then I had to move it real quick.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like, pushing
Yeah,
like that.
just make sure your mouse space is clear. You have a lot of mouse room to move around. And then also, when somebody's this low, this is the perfect time to helix them to finish off the kill. Helix, a lot of the time, the best way to use it is as a finisher because of how much damage it does. You're going to use it to just burst them down so that they can't get healed up, so that they die faster, which means you can move on to other things. So, when Ana's this low, you just helix and then she dies.
I've got you in my sights. Clean sweep.
Just remember that when you're vising, you still need to aim, so in the general area of the person. So,
I've got you in my sights.
first off, I'd aim at Ana here rather than the Brig, because Ana doesn't have a shield, Brig does, and then Brig starts shielding you. Ana runs around the corner. You get booped, make sure that you're adjusting faster to where people are. So just do a quick flicks to get back up to them.
Okay.
Okay, so since they're so far away, I probably would have just stayed up there but gone around to the left side, to the left high ground.
Okay.
Alright, so we're gonna go over some tech here. What timer are we at? We're at 3:30. 3. So on Soldier, how his gun works, and you can see this in his I guess you can't really here, look real quick. I am going to go to his crosshair. Where's he at? And then make it show accuracy. So as we shoot, it gets. You see how it gets wider? Your crosshair gets wider.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 6 shots, I believe, are perfectly straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then everything past that starts to spread out. So if you, after the first 6 shots, do a slight pause and then keep shooting, then you can keep your accuracy up. So at medium to longer ranges, you're gonna want to do tap firing. So we go like that. We do it in slight bursts rather than just holding it down, because when we hold it down, it goes like this, and then it spreads out really far. Okay. So then it's gonna be a lot more inaccurate. So at longer ranges, we're gonna want to tap fire it so that it's not getting spread out. At closer ranges, it doesn't matter because we're gonna hit all those headshots anyways. Okay.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna check the back real quick so I don't forget about it.
Traveling to Volskaya, ready for battle.
Heroes never die for a price.
Okay, rather than running around to the front here, you could probably shoot them in the back. So Soldier is a pretty decently flanky character. Because of his mobility and his ability and his health pack that he can drop, he has a lot of survivability and he can get out of dicey situations. So when you come back here, you can actually just stay where you're at right now and shoot them in the back. And then if they start shooting at you, you can back up because you have sprint and they're super far away from you. So they're not going to be able to kill you at all unless Ana lands asleep on you. So here, this angle allows you to shoot them in the back, get behind their shield, shoot Ana. And when you run around in a second, you're gonna be just staring at the Reinhardt, which means that he can just very easily shield you off. So this angle is not gonna do a whole lot for you in comparison to the other angle.
60 seconds remaining.
Stay in your health back there. Don't run out of it. Also, request healing as soon as you get in a duel like this. So you're getting in the duel. Where is your team at? Your Mercy's pocketing your Zarya over here, but she's full HP. So when you're low, just make sure you're requesting healing so that you're gonna get that healing as fast as possible. Helix, make sure that you kill them. Remember, Helix is a finisher or it's also fine how you used it before to get spam damage in. That's also good. But right here you have Helix. Do you use it at all? Oh, you do right there. Make sure you're just paying attention to that cooldown, because you do get it back right now, which means that you could use it at any point from now. Okay, Genji's 1 HP. Ball's pretty low too. If you get a good Helix here, maybe at their feet, most of the time you can also try to go to Helix feet because that's going to get the splash damage in. That means you hit both of them, so Genji dies. If you land it right there, Genji dies, and then Ball's left very low, which means that your team is going to be able to better clean them up. Just remember that ability, because that's going to be your big finisher.
Okay.
Knock me down and I'll keep getting back up. Group up with me.
30 seconds remaining.
Okay, repositioning the high ground.
New defense point.
Okay, so right now you probably want to be up here, because this angle means that you can peek out here and get shots off from here if they're back over there, and then also back up to get healed or back up to just spam them on point. So this is a very good angle that allows you to do multiple things, and it's also on high ground, which we've already discussed is going to be very good a lot of the time. Where we're at right now is not a very good place to be, because one, it's isolated from our team, so if they push us, then we're in a very bad situation, and we're also going on a flank here onto their side, which means it's very easy for them to pin us and kill us like that. So we pushed too far forward, we weren't on high ground, and we didn't take the good positioning when we had the opportunity to. So good positioning is going to set up good gameplay. So if you're surviving more, if you're alive longer, if you're in a position where you can kill things, then you're going to be killing more things. Okay. If you are forced, if this at this point, this is called a stall. When you are dead, if we're paying attention while we're dead, we're down 2 more people, 3 people. This is a lost fight. They've killed most of our team. That means that what we're doing right now is called stalling. So we're going to try to go out the point and stall timeout so that they get less time, and then possibly we have the chance of winning the fight if we get kills. So Soldier's not going to be the best character for this because, again, remember, what is Soldier? What range does Soldier play at?
He's a mid-range character.
Yep. So if you're
What I
go ahead.
used to do is I would switch to Tracer, but I have Tracer's banned right now.
Yep. So instead, you can swap to like Doomfist is a good stall character. Trying to think of some other characters because I do think Tracer is a very good character. Tracer, Doomfist. You can go. Trying to think of other characters. My bad. I'm having brain fart. Summer's okay because of her speed to get out there. But then at the same time, you're not gonna have as much luck on her as you do on Soldier. Reaper and May are decent because once you get out there, you can stall point out for a very long time by like, for example, May ice blocking or walling yourself in the corner, and then Reaper has his Wraith. But you only want to go those characters if you are last to die and you have people stalling before you. But if you're died first here, you're gonna want to go a fast character. So Doomfist, I'd say, is the best pick here.
Okay. Yeah. I never really learned how to play Doomfist.
Yeah. Basically, you don't even really need to know how to play him. It's just more for the purpose of getting there fast, and then you're gonna be stalling him more because you have more health. You're gonna have better abilities at a closer range. So just use your abilities. Try to get a pick. It's not really necessary that you know how to play him, but you will, I guess, if you play him enough while you're stalling, you'll kind of get the general feel for him.
We're all soldiers now.
Okay, so right here, I would say that your best plan of attack is probably to get an off angle. So, right now their bastion's top left. So I would say that if you flanked or all the way around you, so you run around this corner, come up here, come up here, come up here. Even if bastion's not there, is a good idea because now you have an angle on them from behind where you can shoot at them. Is there soldier in your spawn? Yes, he is. So if you come up here, then this gives you a really good angle to shoot at them from behind from. But then also, if Bastion's here, then that means that you can shoot him in the back and you can make him turn around and look at you. And you probably win that because if he doesn't notice you, then that means that you get very free good headshots on him. Just I don't know your level of game sense, but you know that he has a headshot while he's in Sentry, correct?
What's his headshot bot?
So it's this little blue rectangle thing here, yeah. So that's that. If you shoot that, that counts as a headshot.
Okay.
So if you come up behind them, shoot that, then you kill him a lot faster. If he does notice you, then that means that he might decide to drop, and which also is very good for you because then you're forcing him off high ground. So there you can see the effects of the accuracy. So you're, yep, the spread. You are aiming basically straight at him here, but then look how much it's spreading out. You're basically aiming at him, but then the spread is meaning that you're not hitting him. So tap fire that so that the shots are going straight. Okay.
And then I find out the Bastion's there.
Yep, we didn't notice him fast enough. Just pay attention to all the high grounds awareness. Don't always just stare at the center of your crosshair. Always be looking side to side. What characters are they on? Check that. That you're not getting rolled over by the Bastion like that.
This old dog's learned a few tricks.
Okay, so rather than using that as the opener, use that as the finisher, because if you open up with the burst damage, then they just start healing themselves, and then they get healed up, and then it doesn't matter. But if you shoot them the first couple of shots and then throw in the burst damage, then it bursts them down before they think that they need the healing.
Mm.
Everyone, heal up.
All right, so we have 4 minutes left. I'm gonna talk about positioning real quick, and then I'll probably wrap up the session.
Okay.
So, Soldier here.
We're all soldiers now.
So, if we are standing right here, and this is an enemy character, let's say this is a high enemy McCree, it takes us assuming we're running, I probably should have gone a slow character, because this is going to mess up my point, but it takes us 1, 2, 3 seconds to get behind cover, which, if we are standing right here, we have the same exact line of sight on him, and we can kill him just as easily from here, except for it takes us half a second to get behind cover. So, if you stand next to cover, then that means that you are going to be taking less spam damage and taking less damage overall. You can also think of things like this, where it's covering half of our body, so if they shoot us in the legs, we're not going to be able to get hit. So standing next to cover gives you the option to duck behind cover, so if we start taking damage, you just duck behind cover, use health pack, or get healed up our team. You can also use things like this, where we come down here, and then they can't see us while we're down there. We can use objects like this while we're ducking around, and then they can't see us while we're reloading. We come over here. We're standing right here. Then that means that it takes us a couple seconds to get behind cover. Whereas if we're standing right here, this is a lot better of a position to be shooting from. So don't take wide angles where you're standing out here. Hold the corner here so that you have a better chance of getting behind cover. Don't hold here. You can hold down here, or you can hold up here, because then you have the option to get behind cover. Okay, we're gonna go over high ground positioning real quick, and then that'll probably wrap us up. So here, even though high ground is very good positioning, there is a bad way to use high ground. So if we're standing right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bots can see us. And can we shoot at 5 bots?
No.
Okay,
That's what that was.
so that means that 5 people can shoot at us, but we can only shoot at 1 person. So we don't want to be able to see 5 people at once. So if we back up, and then we add a crouch in there, now only 2 people can see us. If we move to the left, now only 1 person can see us, which means that we can shoot at them. Now we can uncrouch, shoot at this person, move forward a little bit, shoot at that person, and then move on to the last person, okay? Now you get the same effect over here. 1, 2, 3, 4 if that bot comes out. 4 people can see us, we move to the left, now only 1 person can see us. If we move farther back, then now they can only see our head, and it's less of our body that they can actually see and shoot at. So if you're wanting to take less damage, you use the same principles as standing on the ground. You move closer to side cover, and then you also move farther away from the ledge. Okay, so do you have any questions about anything we've gone over?
No.
Okay, well then, I will just end the